सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरि ओम। We believe that it is the desires that drives action. Yes, that's what we observe in the world. What we see is who puts in more effort, who works more. When does a person who is getting a salary of 20,000 rupees works more, does overtime, and earns another 2,000 rupees or 4,000 rupees, whatever. And it's just a question of number of zeros you add for the rest. That's about it. Now, wherever we have seen, whenever we see a person who is stepping up his efforts and putting in more effort than what I am generally doing. So, what makes a person put in more, work for more, is only when he has some desire. The desire can be anything. It's not necessarily it has to be only with reference to money. It has to be a desire that I have to provide for my family, I have to save for my future, I have to do this, I have to do that. So many things, he can have. But essentially, he must have a desire for him to step up, and that's what we see in the world. When does a person works slightly more? Wherever there is not that more, we don't see that person slogging. That striving is not there. That struggling never comes in. Once you reach a position of comfort, now everything is there for me. After that, he will not go to office, no matter what he is. It's got nothing to do with your turnover. It has got nothing to do with the quantum that you have. Remember, it's just a question of desire. Therefore, we come to conclusion that if you have to work, you need a desire. Without a desire, work will not happen. So what is the driving force of action? Desire in some form is the driving force of action. If there is no desire, no action. Not only with reference to business, I mean it in the house also, doing anything. Anything that you are doing, remember, any action in the sense, anywhere you are putting that little extra, you are stepping up. That is how we test. The test is not otherwise, you are breathing, you are eating, all those things will be considered as action then. That is not treated as action here, remember. You are eating, you are sleeping, you are walking, you are talking, and all that doesn't become action. Action means exertion. I exert, I work. There we ask this question, when does a person exerts himself? Meaning, whatever he is doing, he is putting that extra effort. Little more he does. When? Only when he pitches up a desire. If there is no desire, no action. This is what our observation shows. And on observation, we come to conclusion straight away. That is, if I have to act, I need desire. Then it becomes very simple. So what drives action? Desires drive action. Whoever has desires will do. Those who are not having desire will not do. Whoever has desire in that particular area will do. Those who are not having desire in that area will not do. This is what we simply say. You like it, you do it. You are attending Vedanta class. Why? Because you like it. I'm not attending Vedanta class. Why I'm not attending? I don't like it. I don't have a particular liking to it, therefore I'm not attending. If you like it, you do it. I'm going for golf. Says. I'm not forcing you to come to golf, no. Similarly, you also don't force me to attend Vedanta class. You do what you like, I do what I like. And so interesting is you will not know what to do with that fellow. I'm not asking you to do anything, please. Leave them alone. That's all. But what is interesting is, anywhere we go, we see it is only desire that is driving my action. And that's why Karma Yoga asks us to investigate. Do a little more investigation. Just don't go by prima facie observation. Observation and just come to conclusions. Deepen your observation. Deepen your study. And see what happens. If little desire is increasing little action, and if we say it is desire that is going to be driving action, I have to do more, then I have to increase my desire. Exactly like if you want to boil water faster, what you have to do? Increase the heat. Turn the burner to high. Little more, little more, little more, little more. It will come to boiling point faster, quicker. Same way, what is the driving here? Here the driving is desires. So what are you supposed to do? Increase the desire and see what happens. Increase that desire, increase that desire, increase that desire. Where you land up? Surprisingly, it lands you in inertia, inaction. When your desire gets fulfilled, it lands you into inertia by putting you in a state of complacency. When your desire is not fulfilled, it increases the mental agitation, and you cannot take that agitation beyond a point. Thereby, it puts you in a state of inaction. You see, because you have only two options. When you have a desire, either it will get fulfilled or doesn't get fulfilled. In both the options, conclusion is what? Landing point is same. The landing point is inaction. It just gives you the appearance of dynamism. Desires driving your actions gives you a sense of dynamism. That's about it. That's what Ramtirtha says. You should die with your boots on. We live life thinking of only what? Weekends, vacations, retirement. The first month salary onwards, the person starts thinking of retirement plan. How quickly we are going to retire. And these people have a fantastic logic also. I remember 2-3 people have told me, Iswaran, I want to join 3-year course, but I just have to, get some money, quickly I will do business. I will do this job. I will earn X amount of money. And then even if Swamiji throws me out, I will go and join the academy. I don't even know whereabouts of that person now. It's so interesting to see people. Because we believe like that. We think, okay, once I get settled, then I will. So for that, what I'm going to do, so quickly, how do you get that quickness? For me to increase, we know only one method, that is desires. Karma Yoga says, it will never happen. You can never get into dynamism in life by any other means but through Karma Yoga. That's why Krishna in the Gita defines Karma Yoga as Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam, he says. Chapter 2. He says, what is yoga? What is this Karma Yoga? He says, yoga means Karmasu Kaushalam. Karmasu Kaushalam means dexterity in action. That skill in action. Now, skill in action, not in the sense how beautifully you are, doing your surgery, how nicely you are painting, how good you are singing. That skill is not what he's talking about. He's talking about a skill in action where action is driven not by the desire. That is the real skill in action, because only that set of actions can be sustained right through your life. Otherwise, your life will be just starting, stopping, starting, stopping, starting, stopping. This is a life of tamas, inertia, laziness, listless life, indifferent life, that is. You start something, leave it halfway. You start something else, leave that halfway, and move on, stopping, starting, stopping, starting, stopping, starting, stopping. Wherever you see that starting, stopping, starting, stopping, that means it's never started. Because even when you started, your thought was only there. Even in Monday morning, your thought is where? Friday evening. The starting of the year, your thought is where? Starting of that quarter, your thought is where? Same way you stretch it. Starting of the life, your thought is where? The thought of death occupies you more than the thought of living, actually. Inaction. That's where he gives. Develop a higher ideal in life. A higher ideal, when you fix up, there, the driving force is consistent right through your life. But the problem is, the moment you pitch up a higher ideal in life, you get into trouble. Don't think all troubles are because of ideal. Remember, not that. That ideal gives a unique trouble that is there only for those people, not for others. We will say, sir, I am also trouble. There are a lot of troubles I am also facing in life. Your troubles are decided by your desires. This is because of the desires. This stress, this problem is different. That person faces something. Very unique problems they face. The very ideal, when you fix up, it demands courage in you. You need to have a tremendous courage to pitch up that ideal. What is that higher ideal? Don't say immediately, he says, in the book, welfare of your, family, community, country, humanity, all beings. Therefore, what I'm going to do? I become a vegan now. I'm not saying whether you become vegan or non-vegan. That is up to your choice. That's your food choice. That has got nothing to do with, ideal in life, please. Now, higher ideal means something that you conceive beyond your level, beyond your current position. That's where the problem comes for all of us. Because we don't even have that alertness to register what is my current level of involvement. You see, that's where Karma Yoga is difficult. It's not just, okay, Karma Yoga means what? Service. No, just service is not, community service is not, NGO is not Karma Yoga, please. NGO is a service one. There's no doubt about it. Rotary Club is a service act. There's no doubt about it. But that doesn't make it Karma Yoga, please. So Karma Yoga has got nothing to do with you are, running a trust or an NGO or you're running a business. It's got nothing to do with that, please. Karma Yoga is to do with reference to, is this action directed towards a higher ideal? What is the higher ideal? Who will pitch up a higher ideal? Who will work for that? That is the question. When can you think of a higher ideal? And what happens when a person works for a higher ideal? First thing is he will not be interested in the achievement of that ideal. Realization of that ideal. When I am going to be completing that, when I am going to be finishing that task, that project. Because his focus is not there. His focus is with reference to the effort in the direction of the ideal. Nothing to do with the realization of that. And it's a great courage. What is a courage? It is a great trial and error method. It is a great experiment. That's why we say Vedanta is an experimental science. We say. It's like other sciences only. Only thing is what? It's an experimental science. In this experimental science is far more deadly and dangerous than our normal experimental sciences. Because in the normal experimental sciences, scientists will not inject corona vaccine to himself first. Isn't it? When does that chief doctor will say, chief scientist will say, I will take that injection to myself? They will not do it. But in Vedanta, in Karma Yoga, experiment starts with whom? He says, let me see, is there a possibility for me to continue to strive, continue to struggle without a desire driving it? Minus the desire driving it, let me work. And the moment he says desire is not going to drive, then what is going to be the driving factor? It is the higher ideal that will be the driving factor. The moment a higher ideal becomes the driving factor, instantly one thing happens. When he starts working for a higher ideal, higher cause, higher purpose, straight away he will be getting tremendous support, tremendous power, tremendous wealth, power. Wealth doesn't mean immediately, don't think, immediately he become Bill Gates? It's not that, please. He will be provided with so many things and he will have a tremendous command, power over anyone who comes, because he is serving them. The moment you start serving, you get power. But don't try to put the cart before the horse, please. For me to get more power, let me do service. That way it will never work. That will be, this is a leadership class. If I have to do a leadership training, there I will say what? It is service that gives you power. If you have to be a leader, you need to have power. So if you get to have power, what you should do? You should do this. But you can't throw dust in the eyes of God. For you shall be blinded. Yes. Don't think so. You will get it. You get that power only when you start working for a higher cause. So you are struggling. Follow the steps very carefully. Okay. Only then you understand the crux of Karma Yoga. Otherwise, you will miss the whole point. Because he is going to give you the technique next. Next, he is going to explain the technique. Before you go to the technique of action, you should understand the mechanism behind it. Then technique is very simple. Otherwise, you will be learning the technique and trying to use it. And then you will come back and say, sir, I've been following all the techniques of yours, it's not working. You see, it's like taking medicine without that pathiyam that you are supposed to have. See, like some medicines, people give, Ayurvedic medicine, they give. They'll say, you just have milk with that. That's all. And the fellow asks, can I add little decoction to that? No. Finished. You have, little decoction. No, it's not milk. That's called coffee. See, this is how we start, operating. It doesn't work, please. So carefully follow. I pitch up a higher ideal. When I pitch up that higher ideal, I am going beyond my current level of selfishness. That's the meaning of it. Current level means my current level of selfishness. Then I strive, work so hard to stretch myself and go beyond that. When I'm going beyond that, initially I will face certain glitches here and there. But once I pass that initial phase, afterwards, what is going to be, sir? The benefits are going to be fantastic. You reap rich dividends. Mutual fund, investment. Longer the time you hold, better the returns. Like that here. Even there it takes 20 years. Here it doesn't take 20 years. Just a matter of 1 or 2 years is more than sufficient. You will start getting the returns. What is the return you will get? You will start getting returns like power. You will start getting returns like money, wealth, recognition, fame, name, etc. So many things you will get. Karma Yoga is stepping up. Now what you have to do? This is what Krishna said. Forget the fruit, put the effort. What is it? I should continue my effort, continue my striving, continue my action. When these results were coming like this, to push them aside, and I should live my life in a particular way. That is called the life of Karma Yoga, which is a courageous experimentation done by these people. That's what a rishi is doing. That's what the spiritual masters were doing. Otherwise, why do you think Buddha had to go on begging after he attained nirvana? He left the palace only to gain that solution. He got a solution. Correct. And even if you say Buddha did all these things only to propagate, actually Buddhism started spreading in India at what point? Not during Buddha period. From what point Christianity became this one? When the Roman king, Constantine, when he took over, only when he converted into it, only when he started supporting it, it was growing. For Buddha, that problem also was not there. At least Christ did not have that option because his father was a carpenter, poor thing, right? But Buddha had that power of what? Go back to his kingdom. As a king, he would have been able to spread the message far wider. He could have influenced far more people. If we say Buddha's intention is to teach, communicate, transform people, that would be a better option than going for begging into the doors. Why was he begging? What is the necessity for Ramatirtha to go on begging? In fact, in our tradition, these people kept that as a rule here. When they do this thread ceremony, first, when they initiate, that one, first act to be performed by the student, from that boy, from the child. As soon as they have completed the thread ceremony, a fascinating tradition. First thing he has to do is what? He has to beg. First thing they taught these kids is to go on begging. For what? And so sensitive they are, so sentimental they are, they have understood what is the condition, because the child is only about 7-year-old, 7-8-year-old child, you can't even call boy. He has to ask, and the first bhiksha has to be given by mother. I remember a few years back, yes, I got one, invitation. Thread ceremony, this one, Punul, Upanayanam ceremony, I got. Along with that, I had one more invitation. Same cover, same envelope. Another invitation is wedding invitation. Same boy. 2 days later, wedding. 2 days, wedding means that boy is already 30. Already 20, 28 or 30, something like that fellow. And he is going for thread ceremony. In that ceremony, what is he doing? He is asking his mother, Bhavdi Bhikshandehi. And who has purchased that rice? Who paid for the rice is this fellow. Because he is the one who went for shopping in that, from, some grocery shop. He went and he ordered that rice. He brought that rice and he gave the rice to his mother. And then he is asking his mother what? Bhavati Bhikshandehi. Please, it's a mockery. I was asking them, why you are doing thread ceremony now? And the person was saying, only then we can have marriage, This is weird. There is another tradition they have, the bridegroom, will come only in the horse. This horse. And the fellow is so scared to climb the horse. That's why at least they cover the face. You don't see that fear there. He is so scared to climb the horse. Kshatriyas in those days where horse riding is like, bicycle for them. And they are supposed to have with the sword, because they are Kshatriyas. Now, today this boy has no clue of all that. All that, toy, sword that fellow keeps. He is coming. Real mockery, I say. At least this mockery is okay. But this one, such a fantastic system. Why these masters were all living a life of beggary? Now, why Christ has to live that life like how he lived. Huh? When Satan came and offered, he said, I'll make you the king of all the three worlds, man. What's your problem? Yes. Get thee behind me. Get thee behind me, right royally, he said to Satan, who offered the three worlds, and then he is going to the next neighbor and asking for food. You see the lack of intelligence in those people? There's no common sense. They are not worldly wise. Remember, spiritual wisdom and worldly wisdom will never go together. If you see someone worldly wise, you can take it for granted that spiritual wisdom is nil. When you see someone with spiritual wisdom, worldly wisdom will look redundant. They look so stupid in terms of worldly things. Because look at life of Christ. When Satan offered all the three worlds, he could have taken that. No. After taking the lordship over the three worlds, after that he could have kicked off the Satan. It's not that after taking over, Christ is going to be his slave. Never it's going to happen. The Satan can never make Christ his slave. Impossible. Sensible thing to do. After Nirvana, okay, during that pursuit, for 6 years, Buddha was striving the path to attain. After attainment, why he is continuing? For what? Why Ramatirtha has to be live life like a beggar? Why Ravana has to go for begging in Tiruvannamalai? Why they lived like that? Remember, that is the effortless practice of Karma Yoga by those masters needs to be effortfully done by the Karma Yogi. You see, what is effortless for them is effortful for us. How to keep the head steady when you go for cover drive is effortless for Rahul Dravid. But for the boy who is going for cricket coaching, what is that? Effortful. That balance is effortless for him. But for this boy, it is effortful. Only then he can master that stroke. Otherwise, it is not possible. What is effortless for that master is effortful for the student. Similarly, what is effortless for these spiritual masters, rishis, becomes effort for the seekers, sadhaks. So what is their effort? What did they do? They continue to work, continue to be traveling from pillar to post, village after village after village after village, moving around so much, like Buddha, Shankara, Mahavira, Ramatirtha, going from country to country. And goes to a country, they say, we can't understand English. We know only the local language. He says, give me 1 week's time. I will learn your language. Teach me your language. I will teach you Vedanta. 1 week he stays in that country. He learns that language and gives a lecture in that language in 1 week. Nice. What amount of dynamism? What amount of effort? What amount of work? When you do such a selfless, dedicated work, first thing you get is what? That power, that command you get. That is what Satan coming and tempting Christ. That power. Push that power, and then what will you do, sir? Go on a life of beggary. Life of dependency. They lived their life throughout as though they are dependent on the society. You see, it'll appear as though they are more dependent on us than we are dependent on them. I suppose you all know there are three patterns are there in life. One is called dependency. Another one is called interdependency. Third one is independence. I am dependent on you. One thing. Second one is I am dependent on you for this. You are dependent on me for that. Business, transaction, trading. Independence is what? I don't need you. You need me. That is called independence. These people were in that state of independence, but led a lifestyle of dependence. As though that attitude is called Karma Yoga. That is called working for a higher ideal. Otherwise, everything else is just desires camouflaged. More intelligent you are, better you can conceal, mask it. Beware of that. You can fool others, but eventually what will happen? You yourself will get fooled. So therefore, in Karma Yoga, what we do, sir, you do your duties. There's no doubt about it. You do your duties. But the moment you start doing your duties, immediately we start claiming our right. If I perform my duty, these are my rights. This attitude of claiming rights. When do you claim your rights? When I think that I am doing a favor to you. When do I claim rights? A father claims right. Husband claims right over his wife. When? Only when I perform my duty with the belief that whatever I am saying as I am doing my duty is I am doing a favor to you, actually. Being a father is a favor. Being a mother is a favor I am doing to you. Therefore, what happens? I start claiming my rights. And that's what every parent's problem is. Everyone who is serving, this is what immediately people will ask. Sir, I am doing my duty. I am serving people, but they are not recognizing at all my service. My husband is not recognizing my service. I've been serving him for the last 20 years. 20 years I've been serving this fellow. No recognition at all. Correct? Same thing husband also says. I am serving you for the last 22 years. Why 2 years of courting period also? Because his service started from that time. Dating and doing all that, no. So from that time it started. So he says, I'm doing it for the last 22 years. And do you recognize it? Government says we are serving you guys, citizens are not recognizing. Citizens are saying, I am doing my duty, I am doing everything, government is not doing anything. Why? We believe performance of duty is nothing but doing a favor. I'm doing a favor to you. Weird ideas we have in life. You don't understand the, the beauty at all. It's like in the painting, exhibition, a big painting exhibition organized. In that, they were selling the paintings, and one particular one went maximum, highest, priced, went on. And this was reported to the painter. He was there inside. They went and told him, your painting has gone for a very good price. And he was so surprised. This painting? Yeah, this one. That particular portrait went for this one. And he was really surprised. Apriya, he came out. He saw that, he got so wild and started shouting at the organizers, "You have put it ulta. You are hanging it upside down." See, that's how we live life. You value something which is hanging upside down. We think that is called duty. When I do my duty, immediately what? Everyone should recognize me. Nobody will recognize you. Why? Because you are assuming that you are doing duty. That's an assumption of yours. You pitch up a higher ideal. Work. That working, that effort that you are putting in towards that higher is called Karma Yoga. How do you begin, sir? The starting point of that is to pitch up a higher ideal and then put in your effort. What sort of effort? That's what he gives. Karma Yoga, page number 222, 222. Karma Yoga, second paragraph. The path of action envisages an ideal in life. One who follows this path, the Karma Yogi, dedicates his life's activities to the ideal he has set. His mind is focused on the noble cause for which he works, while the body is engaged in constant action. All along, his intellect ensures that the mind and body do not slip away from the path set for the purpose. When the mind and intellect are thus pursuing a selfless ideal, the body becomes energized to work. The more he works, the more energy it releases. And with greater energy, work turns out dynamic. This is how dynamism is achieved. How do you achieve dynamism? Is through higher ideal. So, three things he gives here. Number one, your intellect pitches up the higher ideal, and your mind feels for that higher ideal, directs, concentrates on that higher ideal, and body is working hard to achieve it in that direction, striving. What is the higher ideal, sir? Anywhere you pitch up a higher ideal beyond. So, higher ideal means my current level of selfishness to the next level of selfishness, which is unselfishness. From this point, that looks unselfish. Once you settle down there, that point becomes selfish, and next point will become unselfish. So, Karma Yoga path is what? The path is selfish to unselfish, unselfish to unselfish, to unselfish, to unselfish, to unselfish. Finally, what, sir? Total unselfishness becomes selflessness. So the ideal of a Karma Yogi is not the current unselfishness. The ideal for him is that selfless attitude that I'm going to achieve, that I'm inspired to reach. So this ideal is what is conceived. So unselfishness to selflessness. Only when the selflessness final point is conceived, that effort to move from my current level of selfishness to unselfishness can be categorized as Karma Yoga practice. Otherwise, it is just a social service. Now, I don't think, we are against the social service. Many people immediately think, oh, you mean to say we should not do social service. No, that's not the point. The point here is, what is Karma Yoga? And there is a difference between Karma Yoga and the social work. What is the difference? Difference is only this. I conceive that higher, and anything that I have conceived, I stay put in that same position. I never step it up. You can see all those people. The fellow who is inspired with something will stay only with that position right through his life. He never steps up to the next level. Whatever the level is, whatever I think of, wherever I get inspired by a particular ideal, I keep on working towards that right through my life. Never I reach a position where I need to step up. I need to step up. Not in terms of external, remember, because that way you can never step up, you can never complete any action. Imagine, okay, today very big thing all of us are talking about is global warming. Okay. At what point we are going to say we have attained global warming over? What is the point? Literacy level, let's say. Poverty, let's say. If you are working for poverty, at what point you are going to say that poverty is over? Now we can step up to that next. One Janma will never be over for you to even step up next level. That means you can never step up rest of your life. You see, this is called social work. Okay. In Karma Yoga, we constantly step up where? Not with reference to the external. It is to do with my internal inspiration. Where I strive for something more. Why do I have to, at thought level, confine my thinking only to this circle? Can I extend beyond that circle? Can I extend beyond that circle? That is the constant effort. Here it is possible. If you keep external, you can never step up. So when we say Karma Yoga, you got to pitch up a higher ideal, it means it is stepping up constantly. In social work, stepping up is not possible because you can never fix a point. At what point you are going to say global warming is over? That's what word says. Unfinished tasks, unfinished tasks. Whole life you will go unfinished only. You can never have your life finished completely. I wanted to live 125 years post-independence of India. Gandhiji. After independence, he wanted to live 125 years to ensure that everything is fine. Imagine Gandhiji were to be living today. That's why we never allowed. Okay. In 2 years, we finished him off. Poor man. But why? At what point I have found a cure for the diseases? At what point? And once you achieve that particular one, suppose let's say that I had the ideal of planting 1 crore trees. Okay. Are you referring only to planting or are they growing? Sir, planting only my point is. Growing Allah, I can't do anything. So what I have to do? I take the seeds and throw. If it grows, it grows. If it doesn't grow, that's not my problem. Cheating, no. Isn't it? So actually what you have to do, I have to go to the nursery and grow that 1 crore, and then I have to do this, and then I have to do, at what point you are going to say the tree is over? Because by the time that 1 crore comes into picture, this one would have been dead. So what I have to do? Again come back and start. At what point you are going to complete it? By the time I say I have grown 1 crore trees, on the other side, 10 crore trees are gone. So I am in the same position. I'm not saying you should not do anything, please. I'm only explaining, please grow trees, please work against poverty, literacy, provide things. That's all different. I'm not saying don't do that, please. Many people mistake it like that. They think, oh, you mean to say we should not do all those things. That is the method, process. Your effort should be in that direction. But then that doesn't make it Karma Yoga. Then what makes an action Karma Yoga, sir? Whether you are working in the office, or you are taking care of your house, or you are, attending to your club, this, anywhere you go, attitude is what? Step up my vision. Can I can I conceive something beyond, something more than what I am working so comfortably right now? This. Here, that ideal that is conceived by that intellect, only intellect can penetrate and develop that. Mind should also have an emotion connected to that ideal. This is where people make a mistake. Either you become emotional about something and pitch up an ideal, pick up something and start working, or they dismiss all their emotional dimension, pitch up something purely on statistics basis, purely on their thinking going. He says that will not be the right way of going about with reference to action. In action, what gives power, what gives the consistency to your action is only when your mind is cooperating with it. If the mind is not willing to cooperate, if you are not emotionally charged, if you are not able to emotionally establish that connect to that ideal, concentration is not possible by the mind. Mind will never be behind that effort, because effort itself is painful. Remember, effort, like I said earlier, I have to struggle. I will not be having that recognition. After that, I will get tremendous power. So tempting. I am shifting that power. I am shelving that aside, continuing to work. So there is nothing I'm going to be gaining out of it. In fact, I have everything to lose. To live a life of a beggar, not doing anything is easy. That's what people do, begging. Isn't it? Beggars, what do they do? They're not doing anything. Their profession is begging only. But this man is not doing. He is struggling. He is striving. He is investigating. He is exploring. He is serving for the world, for others. And when the benefits are coming to him, he is rejecting that and standing as a beggar and asking you for things. That's why these masters are different class. You can't include them in this usual thing. And a layman can't even see the difference between this and that. You see, not doing anything and begging is easy. In fact, if you look into the eyes of those beggars, next time when you see, after the lockdown and all opened up, you look into their eyes, and when they beg, looking deep into their eyes, you will see them totally unaware. They are not conscious at all, actually. You see, they are not alert. switched off. Because with alertness, you can never do begging. You know that? That's not possible. Your ego can never digest. Impossible. That's why asking, like, we do yajna, no? It's so interesting. The people are asking me, why are you performing? Why you guys are doing yajna? Every year we go on asking people, please give, please give. Anytime, remember, if a call comes from me, they say, Ishwaran call means we know. If you are calling me, I know that Ishwaran says. I know what I have to do. What I have to do, asking only. And it is so interesting to see people. I say, hey, can you ask, can you just check with some of your, friends, and, can you ask them? See, I'm not asking for my personal one. Okay. It's not that, I wanted to put some money in my bank account. Please give me. It's not that. They are asking for a cause. And that very, very interesting, replies people give. They say, Ishwaran, I will give here, but, I can't ask. Can't ask. And what is so interesting is, right through you are living a life of a beggary. It's not that you are never asking. Actually, if you see, but beauty is you never recognize that you are begging. Why? The act of begging, asking, being dependent, that's all it means. It's all the same thing. Is possible only when you go unconscious. You have to lose your consciousness. Impossible. Consciously, you can never do it. It's a deep psychology. You know that. And Mahatma Gandhi is the one who exploited it beautifully. Because you can't be violent with awareness. Have you seen that? You can't see, you can never register the pain that you are causing and continue to be violent. You know that? I don't know whether people are following me. Is a very subtle point. If you have to be violent, violence is possible only when you go oblivious to the pain that you are causing. That is why we never recognize the pain that we are causing unless it is physically hitting. You see, the moment I say violence, immediately you think of only terrorist. You see, you never think of the injury that you are causing by your words, by your gestures, by your thoughts. That injury that is being caused, you never register. That's why you can afford to be continue with your violence. What Mahatma Gandhi did was exactly opposite. What he did, he said, you hit me, I will sit in front of you bleeding. I will not even retaliate. How long you can keep hitting? Because the moment you start seeing the pain that you are causing, you can't continue your violence. Not possible. Same way, begging, asking, being dependent, I need your help, is not possible when you are alert. That is why we say, when you go to God, when you are in pain, you go to God and ask, please help me, help me. When you ask also, you are not conscious, you are out. Why? Your ego will never agree. That's where mind's cooperation is needed here. The mind's cooperation is needed. Why? Because it will resist. It will retaliate. Why? I'm getting so much rejected, continue to live the life of dependency and put in that effort. Slogging, serving. That is why when a master asks, very, very interesting tradition here. When a master asks, we don't give the reply, if I can, I will do it. There's no such thing. It is what? That's why the traditional wonders, when these people come, the kings, first reply from a king is Tatastu, given. Now you ask. This is what the Dasharatha. Our current interpreters will interpret. Dasharatha is an idiot. Stupid fellow. He always gets into trouble. Why? Simply he gives boons and then he gets into trouble. Don't be stupid like him. You don't understand the grandeur of it. Mind has to cooperate. What is the cooperation of the mind? It registers. That's why it is difficult. If it is not registering, then it is so easy. You see, then it is no problem at all. To continue to live the life of dependency, continue to live the life of beggary, asking, dependency, all that seems simple there. You see, but here he says, no, what you have to do is when this mind is focused on the noble cause. What is a noble cause? Is the higher stepping up from what I conceived as unselfish, step up to the next level. Then bodily what you are doing, sir, work more, strive more, work hard. Work hard doesn't mean immediately you have to be, sweating and, all that, please. That's not the meaning of working hard. It is engaging in action. You continue in that striving. When you do that, you are practicing Karma Yoga. So attitude and action. In action, what is it, sir? Intellect conceives the higher ideal, mind emotionally connects to that higher ideal, body is striving to move up. Body is working in the world, in the terrestrial, in the transactional world. In the transactional world, what sort of dynamism he lives, sir? That's where it becomes so complicated for us. He lives a life of dynamism. What is he doing? Begging. Bhavati Bhikshandegi. We can't even, that's why Karma Yoga is not practiced by people. You see, he said, nah, how can you do that? It's not that place. It is not actual begging, right? It is to become alert enough and then seek the support. That's called a yajna activity. This is where it becomes yajna. So Karma Yoga, 3 points you got to remember. That's all. Intellect, mind, body. Bodily, dynamically you are doing what? Seeking the support for a higher purpose. Doing all that is possible by you. And even something which you conceive that is not possible by you. You stretch yourself. You tear yourself to realize that ideal that you fix for yourself. That ideal can be anything. Doesn't matter. But that ideal condition is what? It becomes an ideal only when it is beyond your self-centeredness and constantly being stepping up, finally culminating into selflessness. Right through, you got to conceive. Not just that immediate. That is called intellect. That is the intellectual application. Then emotionally, you feel for that higher, nobler cause. Physically, you are dynamically working to serve. What is the dynamic action you are performing, sir? Is to serve. That service, sacrifice, is called Karma Yoga. We'll see more in the next class. Thank you.